Here's to whiskey kisses, the peaty taste of sin. An Edinburgh morning with the smell of brewing on the wind. Here's to lighting bonfires.
Hi everyone, Kelly and Rob Carpenter here from SMWS Canada. We've just popped into Adam's October OutTurn video on this, the occasion of the 10th anniversary of the Canadian branch. And we just wanted, 10 years. Feels like it, doesn't it?
Yep.
We just wanted to say thanks to all of you, our members, because without you, we wouldn't be here. It's been 10 years of great fun and great whiskey and great relationships. And so we just wanted to take a moment to say thank you so much. We couldn't do what we do without you.
And that includes the stores, which, as you guys know, in Victoria is the Strath, Legacy in Vancouver, Kagan Cork in Edmonton, and Kensington One Market in Calgary. So thank you very much to all the stores as well. It's whiskey time.
Greetings, whiskey folk, and welcome back to Drinking Out Loud. I am your host as ever, and as always, I'm joined... Wait, hang on. That's not right. This is Pat Dunlop.
Sometimes Pat Dunlop is here.
Occasionally so. And it's a very special occasion that we've managed to drag Pat all the way down from Courtney. It is Courtney here, right?
I live in Courtney.
No. I'm still confused as to where that boundary is.
I've just figured it out.
Oh, nice. Is it like a specific road?
There's a river.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Anyway, we managed to get Pat back down here all the way to Victoria to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the SMWS in Canada. Woo!
Unbelievable.
I know, right?
Yeah.
120 OutTurns.
120 years of OutTurns.
It's mad. So for those of you who aren't aware, Pat was my predecessor, I guess is
correct. That is the
my
term.
ancestor, my whiskey ancestor.
So some of you out there in the audience might not be old enough to remember, but at one time I used to run these OutTurns.
Indeed. And do you remember your first OutTurn?
The number or
well,
just...
both. Do you remember it happening? I mean, that's a good start of memory, actually. Yeah. I mean, and then if you do remember the number?
The first one that I hosted entirely by myself. Well, the first one I hosted
was my first one.
Was also
That's
your
true,
first one. Yeah, we started at the exact... I had been a co-host prior to that. And
I feel like that was somewhere in the 40s.
Sure.
Right? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It was about
actually.
5.5 years ago.
Yeah, or longer, I think.
Yeah, so I think somewhere in the 40s makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's been a wild ride for the SMWS here in Canada. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time, and I know that Pat enjoyed his time as well. I assume he did, otherwise why would he be here?
That's true,
back, right?
No, I have nothing but very fond memories about doing the OutTurns, doing the SMWS.
Plus, of course, you're now a member, so...
Yeah, right. That's true. I'm not just a
pretty face.
Former presenter. I'm also a member.
Beautiful. So 10 years, and we have a stunning lineup for you here today. I know we're a little later than normal with the OutTurn. It was originally planned at the Strath that we were going to do our digital release on the 1st, but then we found out that our brothers and sisters in Alberta and across the pond in Vancouver weren't quite ready for the 1st, so we decided to delay it. So welcome to the first Thursday of the month, Thursday the 7th. It's why not drink whiskey on a Thursday, right?
Absolutely. It's as good a day as any, really.
We're recording on a Wednesday, but, the magic of YouTube. Beautiful. So, Pat's not tried these whiskies. I've actually tried them already. We have open bottles because we had the first OutTurn already on Sunday, and we actually got another former presenter to come back from retirement and co-present, Miss Emily DeCourt, who is very shyly just off camera right there. And I'm sure if she could put her hand in front of that's Emily right there. Hello. You can hear her laugh. It's a glorious laugh.
I'm not ready for my clothes, though.
It went incredibly well, and I think Emily will agree that the whiskies are just stunning. I think Rob and Kelly did a fantastic job picking out some special drams for this month, but Pat has no idea what we're about to drink. So
this is true. Yeah,
it's very exciting.
Entirely
so
blind.
Put the blindfold on. Let's go for whiskey number 1. So our first whiskey today is the Backseat Brewer. The nose opened with ginger cakes, cinnamon sticks, and a herbal infusion, blood orange and jelly tots. Some pineapple syrup, white stone fruits, pomegranate sorbet, and trampled white flowers. And I don't know why anyone's trampling on the flowers. That's a dick move. Water brought out some gentle notes of coffee, freshly cut daffodils, lemon peelings, and white balsamic. The palate showed a slight fizziness, licorice stick dipped in sherbet powder, lots of tinned fruit, salad syrups, juicy fruit, chewing gum, and passion fruit sours. With water, it became more sweetly cereal and full of pollen, glazed vanilla pastries, custard donuts, and lemon barley water. It was matured for 8 years in a bourbon barrel before being transferred into a second fill ex-Tempest old-fashioned IPA barrel. Yes, right?
Weird.
IPA finished whiskey from the SMWS.
Huh.
A little bit mad, a little bit glorious.
Yeah.
And did you try the old-fashioned blend? It came out last year, I think.
I feel like I did, yes.
Yeah, because that was the same brewery. And this is actually a second fill barrel. So I'm wondering if they actually reused the same barrels that they used from the blend.
That would
make
be
sense.
Fascinating. It would make sense.
It'd be kind of cool.
It'd be economical and fun.
Right.
Be a cool side-by-side if anybody has that bottle at home. And
Yeah. So yeah, exciting little whiskey. Let's put some in your glass.
Yes, please.
Pause for the pop.
Satisfying.
See, it's still satisfying even though it's not a fresh bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get the noise.
You do. The noise is what we're all looking for, really.
You've watched Adam do this before, but that is the best part.
Lovely. So yeah, Backseat Brewer. Let's go through the stats, shall we?
Sure.
So it is a Speyside whiskey. It is from an ex-bourbon barrel with a final cask of a second fill IPA barrel, aged for 9 years total from the 10th of February 2011, an OutTurn of 179 bottles, and an ABV of 61. So yeah, kind of, it's going to be a little on the powerful side and over 60 ABV.
Right, yeah, for sure. Let's dive in for a little bit of a nose.
And while Pat's nosing, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about this specific release, because this is a special release that is part of the Giving Spirit program. That's right, this is this quarter's charity bottle. So all of the proceeds from the SMWS Canada branch from this bottle will be going to charity. And in fact, for the first time, instead of waiting until all the bottles have sold, they're trusting that we will sell all the bottles and have already donated, I believe, the charity component, because it's a very time-sensitive cause that they're going for. So let's see. All the profits are going to the Veterans Transition Network, the only Canadian charity delivering mental health services specifically for veterans from coast to coast. Right now, they have an urgent mission to help Afghan interpreters. So unlike with previous bottlings, they're actually donating right now. And as I'm sure you can all agree, they've had a bit of a rough time this last little while, and any help that we can give them is a very, very good cause. So, Slanchivar to the Giving Spirit program.
Cheers.
And what do you think of that nose, Pat?
Yeah, really lovely. I mean, big floral sort of notes, like some fruits. You can almost, like you mentioned, that there's meant to be, and I haven't got to the palate yet, a little effervescence, but it almost reads like kind of popping and bubbly on the nose. Even.
Totally.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I'm getting very much like a Roundtree's fruit pastels kind of a thing, or how do I translate that to a North American audience? Fuzzy peaches.
Yeah. That's a much more normal way of saying it. Round tree fruit pastels.
Rowan tree. Rowan tree. It's a type of tree, a rowan. Like a rowan oak. No?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay, sure. point for
1 point.
Gryffindor.
Beautiful. Speaking of points, and you can hear her giggling off to the side, our director today, Emily DeCourt, what was it you said was your first outturn? Because you beat both of us by a long shot.
It was April 2014.
April 2014. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah,
Impressive.
It was.
that was a while ago. And you said there was a lamb on the front of the
There
OutTurn
was a little
booklet?
jumping lamb on the front of the OutTurn booklet.
Really?
Lovely.
Do you remember any of the whiskies?
I'm pretty sure that Longmorn
Oh,
we
yes.
got was that part
It's,
of the first OutTurn?
Emily confided in our with us at the last tasting that the very first SMWS she ever purchased was a Longmorn. Which might give you a clue that there might be a Longmorn later on.
Right.
See if you can guess the Longmorn.
No
Pat.
Okay.
spoilers.
Yeah.
No
Oh,
spoilers.
that's okay.
Not allowed.
A little teaser here and there doesn't hurt for sure.
This is not a Longmorn, but it is a space side beginning with L.
Is it liquid?
It's a liquid.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Cool.
Which I was looking up a little bit of the history of Linkwood, and it's one of those things. You know the old adage of I've had this broom for 100 years. It's had 12 different handles and 5 different heads, but it's it's definitely. Is it still the same broom?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not. None of the components are actually the same,
Sure.
but it's never fully gone.
Right.
And well, this distillery was built in 1821, demolished in 1874, and rebuilt in 1874. Then stopped in 1985 and restarted, and then demolished and rebuilt again in 2012. Is it really the same distillery? Who knows?
Yeah, certainly.
But we do know that this was distilled in 2011, so a year before it was demolished again, the most recent time.
Using the previous equipment.
Yeah. I don't know if they kept the equipment. I assume they probably would have kept at least some of it.
Yeah,
It's probably
so it
just
would have
the
been the
building.
actual structure that was demolished, and hopefully they're using... I mean, it's the stills where you're getting all
Exactly, and
character.
that brought up the question of what is a distillery? Is it the location? Is it the building? Is it the stills? Is it the people?
I think
It's a little...
It's
like,
certainly a little bit of all those things, but I think it's kind of the stills.
it's kind of the stills, yeah. that's,
to be like really... Well, not in... because it depends on who's running
I think it
them.
has to be at least 2 of them.
Yes, yeah. It's
If
probably...
you can retain at least 2 of those things, you can claim it's still the same distillery.
I'll say it's the stills and the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. You could move those people and those stills around, but
Absolutely.
you get a similar
Although
result.
in some cases you might have to change the name. It's like the example that came to mind there, of course, was our good friend Leon. Like if he'd brought some stills from like Edwardhour or somewhere where he used to work and brought it over to where Shelter Point is now,
couldn't call it
Edwardhour.
Yeah, this is true from a legal standpoint, and I think everything would probably it is the sum of all those parts. You're right. I mean, it's ingredients, it's everything. Yeah, certainly. Yeah, this is lovely.
Yeah, nice, great way to start off a tasting.
A classic SMWS opener. The IPA barrel, I'm not getting anything like huge in terms of
No, a little more tropical
hoppiness
notes than I would expect for a young whiskey like this.
Yeah.
9 years old. Generally wouldn't get quite as much. I mean, maybe you would, I'm not sure. But yeah, really, really interesting. And I think one of the things with the IPA barrel as well is just it speaks to the direction the SWS has gone in the last couple of years of doing some really interesting cask finishes.
Yeah.
And it's something that there was a little bit of a pushback from at the start, but everyone seems to have got on board now.
Right.
And also, this specific cask, there's also a lot of controversy because it feels like it's this new thing. You know, Jameson started doing it, and then was it Glenfiddich started doing an IPA cask as well.
Yeah.
But if you look back in history, surely, before there was as much trading as there is nowadays with North America, surely they would have used ex-beer casks to store whiskey in back in the day. Back in like the 1700s.
Yeah, cask ales, I mean, where they go to standard.
Well, before they made kegs,
Yeah.
everything was in a cask.
Throughout the UK, obviously. So yeah, those would have been plentiful, available. That would have been one of the standard sort of wood types.
That's the one thing we know about the Scotch whiskey industry is they will use whatever cask they are given.
Good frugal.
In general, yes.
Good frugal people. They know how to not look a gift horse in the mouth.
Indeed. So this whiskey is available right now at strathliquor.com for the very handsome price of $179.91,
Nice.
which of course means that it is 9 cents under the threshold, so you have to be an existing member to purchase this one. And we're quite strict on that.
That's right.
So yes, if you're an existing member, feel free to pop over to the website right now, stick one in your cart, and we'll have it delivered to you shortly. Great way to start, and it's
Perfect.
It's gonna get pretty good next as well. I have very fond memories of the next whiskey. Whiskey number 2 today is called A Winter Getaway. The nose neat had plenty of goodness, a lovely fruitiness of lychees, kiwi and melon, as well as caramelized bananas, delicate hints of tapenade, orange peel and charred pineapple, which found themselves alongside cocoa and coconut macaroons. Wonderfully mellow and mouth-watering, just like biting into juicy mangoes, which then was followed by delicate orange oil and white chocolate, and orange marmalade macaroons. Water-added boozy ice cream sundae, banana split and clotted cream, while on the palate a gentle, soft and fragrant fruit like raspberry tartlets, and peach mango coconut cheesecake. We immediately started planning our winter getaway. And hey, Pat, it's got a pretty picture on it. Look at that.
Wow, it's one
Yeah.
of these cool picture ones. Amazing.
So one of the things that jumped out to me when I first saw this picture, which you guys have hopefully just seen on the screen there, is look at the name of what I think is the sunscreen.
Moose juice.
Moose juice. And I think that is, that as much as A Winter Getaway is a fantastic name, this will forever in my mind be Moose Juice.
Yeah, they should have honestly just called this moose juice.
Welcome, Moose Juice.
Cool.
So this was bottled especially for SMWS Canada's 10th anniversary.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, this is our own bottling. Nowhere else in the
so
world
cool.
has this,
I
which
love
is
it.
super cool.
Yeah.
And I now know that I really like it, and hopefully you will as well. But I was really excited by this one because checking out the stats.
Okay.
Speyside, first fill ex-bourbon barrel for 17 years.
I like it.
17th of November 2003, an outturn of only 86 bottles and an ABV of 52.9.
Okay.
Stunningly low ABV for 17
Yeah,
years old.
yeah.
And from a first fill ex-bourbon barrel, that's going to be a whole heap of flavor if done correctly.
82 bottles?
86.
86 bottles.
86 bottles. Now, sometimes I know the SMWS will use a cask for other purposes, so it might not have been that they only had 86 bottles worth of whiskey. Potentially, maybe some of it went into vatted malt or into the little minis or something. Not entirely sure of the full story there. Maybe it was just 86 bottles. That sometimes happens.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen some of the casks at Shelter Point that are just like, why is this
Absolutely.
one so much lower than the others, right?
I've helped assemble one
Exactly.
of the older whiskeys that we just put out, and yeah, there was some very empty barrels. So, yeah.
So it does happen. Maybe that's the case. And I'm wondering, like, especially is the fact that it went down to 52.9, like after such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
So this is Distillery 7.
Is that I'm drawing a horrible blank. I know this is a distillery I know.
So
and enjoy.
Emily knows what 7 is because what was your first whiskey, Emily?
My first whiskey was a number 7.
A Longmorn.
A Longmorn.
Ah.
Yes.
And it was whiskey.
It was called a complex cornucopia.
She's been looking it up on her phone. She was.
It was
She keeps very good notes.
7.93.
7.93.
Wow.
Well, this is 7.261.
Wow.
That's how long Emily's been around now.
That's wild.
Yeah, super, super cool whiskey. And looking online, actually at, I forget the name of the website, that website where you can log your own whiskeys.
Whiskey Base.
Whiskey Base.
Whiskey Base.
Great place.
Yeah. There's a real whiskey base that you can visit in Rotterdam. They have a shop and a storefront and everything. And it's like, that's where
It could be Rotterdam. Could be anywhere. Liverpool or Rome.
This is true.
That's,
but like
that's
actual...
a great song. I don't know if that's actually a thing that people have heard. Is that, do you know that song?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good. It's not just me. Sorry. I didn't mean to throw you off. It's just it's a lyric. Rotterdam is anywhere but home. Yeah. Anyway. Sorry. A real physical place in Rotterdam, you say?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Cool. Yeah, I got to meet the owner. It was very
nice.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So is it actually a store?
Yeah, it's a store. Yeah. And when I went there, interestingly enough, I he could tell I was not from around those parts. And we started talking whiskey in English, of course. And I told him I was a whiskey person from Canada. And he's like, "Oh, you must know Andrew Ferguson." I was like, "Yes, I do." He's like, "Oh, we're about to do some of our archives bottles with him." And I was like, "Crazy. That's
amazing."
Really cool. Yeah.
Hi, Andrew.
Yeah. So that's where I was trying to get to.
That is hilarious.
Indeed.
Nice. I'm sorry for interrupting you with a silly song.
How could you?
I know. Anyway, a fantastic distillery, and if you look on Whiskey Base and like order them by ABV, which is something you can do, the vast majority of the whiskies in that sort of 53-ish ABV are in their 30s and 40s. Right? It's a much more mature ABV.
Absolutely.
So I was really excited to try something that was apparently younger, and also from a first fill ex-bourbon barrel at that kind of ABV, because you don't generally get that so much. But a lot of the older whiskies are going to be in refill casks.
Right.
Because you don't want as much tannins coming out of the oak, right?
Yeah.
So I was super excited to try it, and I was not disappointed. Let's see.
Fascinating.
Let's see what you think.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is going to be great. I generally really like Longmorn, so
I can tell you that we got 3 cases of this one, a larger allotment because it's Canadian exclusive. And I can also tell you that we sold out in an instant at the first of our in-person preview tastings.
very nice. I like to hear it.
Look at that mousse. Sweet, sweet mousse juice.
Wow. Yeah, really lovely. Big Terry's.
Emily's eyeing up the bottle.
Off camera drooling,
Go grab a glass if you want.
clacking her fingers together excitedly. Big dark Terry's chocolate orange sort of notes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the caramelized bananas. There's a rack in the other room. It's happening.
She's doing it.
She's doing it.
After swearing she'd
feel-
never
I
have
feel like
another
I should-
whiskey
Am I
again.
shuffling over?
It's true. Well,
Are you bringing a chair in?
I'm bringing a glass in.
You're bringing
at
a
the
glass
very
in. All right.
least.
Okay.
If you'd be so kind. Well,
The disembodied arm of Emily DeCourt.
hi. I even wore my whiskey shirt, just in case.
Oh yes,
Nice.
thoughtfully made. We've not seen an SMWS Westland yet, have we?
No, we
That's
haven't.
I hope that we should submit that on the list. I don't know if there's an official request box somewhere for the SMWS, but I feel like Westland should be on it. Westland should be on it, really. I guess we should. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that was a good ringings.
There was.
Yeah.
Glorious.
Glorious.
Chair if you like, if you want to join us.
I can't stay.
Just for this
Oh, okay.
one
I've got
special
to work in
whiskey.
the morning.
That's true. Emily drives buses now.
Yes. Not after whiskey.
Not yeah, it's not right now. Don't worry.
Keys are
Stunning.
in the ignition. She just stopped in.
You started
dear.
with a button. No keys required.
Oh,
It's so lovely to have
Amazing.
company for
Good
the
to know.
celebration.
unreal. So malty, Ovaltine.
Yeah.
More chocolate.
It is very Ovaltine, actually.
Chewy, salty, oily.
It's like getting a mango lassi and mixing Ovaltine powder into it. You know, this chocolate malty mango smoothie thing.
Big time tropical fruits as well, yeah, which is such a lost thing in whiskey. That is really interesting, like the low OutTurn, the low ABV, everything.
Yeah.
They're missing pieces to this puzzle.
Yeah, it's crazy. I am loving the low ABV. I hate to use this word because it's very much overused and I'm still not entirely sure what it means, but smooth.
Yeah, or
It's
drinkability.
very drinkable.
Drinkability
Yeah.
is a nicer way to say
It's
that.
cask strength, and I would not think to add water to sit and drink this for enjoyment's sake.
No.
However, I am intrigued enough to add a couple of drops of water for experimentation's sake.
Not I.
No?
No. Hard pass.
Fair enough.
That's really lovely.
Yeah, so tropical, approachable, soft. It really does feel like a winter getaway. You know, that feeling of when you're somewhere on holiday and you don't have to worry about work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You're just relaxed. Finally, you just gotta go, you crack your neck and you just like breathe out.
Yeah,
It's just such a relaxed, happy feeling whiskey.
it is, yeah. Especially in these, we're entering the darker sort of autumn.
The dark ages.
The dark ages, both globally, but in terms of sort of the season. So, this is welcome respite and a welcome little shot of energy and light and deliciousness.
When we tasted this the first time on the Sunday afternoon OutTurn preview tasting, it was absolutely bucketing down with rain outside in the maple room.
Yeah.
It was like, it's such a weird mix of outside and what I'm tasting.
Right, yeah. That's lovely.
This actually would have been the perfect whiskey for me to have tasted when I recorded the last OutTurn on the beach.
It's got a very, there's like a nice little sort of apple cider sort of thing underlying it, like a yeasty, apple-y sort of
Nice.
little like tart and funky. sort of
Yeah,
thing
and
under it.
that's a note that I often, and I get some funny looks for this, I often describe as like that sort of sharpness you get in a cheddar cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Not the
I know.
cheesiness, but
No.
like the sharpness that goes along with it.
I know what you mean. Sometimes it makes my cheeks flush. I don't know if that means I'm lactose intolerant.
Maybe.
Yeah, something is wrong with me.
But if you are lactose intolerant, at least you can enjoy that flavour in whiskey.
This is true. And I'm going to keep eating cheese.
Good man. Okay. So this beautiful, beautiful Longmorn, which, by the way, quick thing about Longmorn. Love the distillery. It's one of the distilleries that Masataka Takatsuru studied out when he was over in Scotland, and seemingly took so much inspiration from it. I think he actually managed to steal the blueprints, and Yoichi up in Hokkaido is basically just Longmorn.
Interesting.
It's got the same still specs.
Right.
It's got the same paint job.
Right, yeah.
It's kind of mad. But yeah, a distillery which is beloved by people actually in the whiskey industry itself, but relatively unknown to the general populace. So if you're a fan of Longmorn, then you're probably going to be a fan of this Longmorn. It is one of the better ones that I've had. It's one of the best Longmorns I've had, to be honest.
It's really amazing.
It's
And
a cracking good whiskey.
very, very...
And
Lovely.
yeah, available only in Canada, only to members. We're actually putting a limit. It is over $180, but we're limiting this only to members, unless on the weird happenstance that we don't sell out by a week from today, a week from the video launching. We will open it up to non-members then, but I don't see that happening.
It's going to go.
Yeah, I think it's going to go.
It's
It flew so quickly the first time. This
bet.
is $259.91. Yeah.
Well worth it.
Just
As my
beautiful.
1 dram of the evening, this is my own mini winter getaway. And
This is Emily's choice for the
I'm
OutTurn.
in absolute bliss. Truly.
It's got the Emily seal of approval.
Wonderful. Our next whiskey today is called The Dark Goes Out.
Let's try.
A more tempestuous example of this legendary distillate. We found the nose initially prickling with antiseptic bubblegum, wind-lashed linens, and canvas. Citronella wax, tutti fruit, dried seaweed in ramen broth, and coal tar soap. Not had that in a while. It's quite popular in Yorkshire.
Really?
Coal tar soap, yeah.
Nice.
It's surprisingly good.
Is it black?
Can be, but it's usually not.
Okay.
The black one's usually just for tourists.
I understand.
Hefty but soothing and superbly zen. With water we got heather flowers, pollen, sooty coal hearths, wood embers, and scrunched newspapers. Not folded, scrunched. Some bone-dry Riesling and wet beach pebbles. The palate was initially bright and awakening with tar acidity, zippy minerals, lemon-scented candles, and cough medicines. A squeeze of herbal toothpaste and touches of beeswax. Water made it more herbal and wonderfully mouth-coating. Rich, malty fatness, mineral oils, custard made with sweet wines, and a saline kiss of ozone in the aftertaste. A saline kiss of ozone, Patrick.
Wonderful. My favorite kiss.
I love these notes.
Yes.
It's one of the highlights of my month is reading through the SMWS notes of the whiskies we've got. They're just wild.
Never disappoints.
I was especially interested. There is actually a comma. At the tasting last week, it was Emily that read these notes out for the room. And I was really excited by the idea of antiseptic bubblegum. It seems like such a great idea.
Yeah.
Right? It's like
That's how
mouthwash
I-
and bubblegum in one.
That's how I heard it.
Yeah,
That's how
I definitely read it without a comma.
Ah, yes. Lovely.
So we're into the Highlands now. We've left the safe haven of Speyside and into the wildlands. This is from a first fill ex-bourbon barrel again, but we're taking a digit away. This is 7 years. So we've dropped a whole decade.
Wow.
This is from the 16th of October 2013, one of 226 bottles at 63. She's a spicy meatball.
Certainly.
And I actually remember really enjoying a touch of water in this one. But
Yeah.
let's see what Pat thinks.
That sounds like it's probably going to demand probably a little
Yeah,
more.
a touch of water is pretty
Yeah.
pretty good for this.
Perfect.
So as you might have guessed from the... actually, do you have a distillery guess just from the notes?
All that sort of antiseptic and everything. I mean, it sounds like we couldn't be on Isla already. Unless
No,
this
we're
is
in the Highlands.
weirdest. We're in the Highlands.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah, you've said this already.
So you're focusing on the wrong part.
Am I?
They mentioned the word wax a lot.
Oh, well, I think I know what it might be.
Yes,
then.
and
Yeah,
it is
might-
indeed
a Klein
exactly
Leash.
a Kleinleash.
Okay,
This is
cool.
a 26.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, it's a Kleinleash. Is there a Kleinleash in this one? Ah, yes, a beautiful, beautiful Kleinleash.
That is lovely, actually. I like
Right.
that a lot. Yeah.
It's rare that I find a Kleinleash this coastal. It's like the bastard love child of a Kleinleash and a Pulteney.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that sounds like quite the love
Yeah,
child.
right.
I could get down with that.
Yeah, the dried seaweed and ramen broth. It's got this wonderful
Umami.
umami note. Exactly. Yeah. I like sniffing an old bottle of Maggi seasoning.
That's really nice. I've jumped ahead to the palate
Oh, no, go
already,
for it.
but
Where this is a party, you can do whatever you want, Pat.
lovely. Yeah.
Woo, 10 years.
It is. It's very unctuous, salty, briny. Again, sort of like there's this leafy sort of a quality to it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Actually, as you said, leafy.
Yeah.
Almost. If you imagine this, but a little bit smoky, tastes a little bit like that Brewer 38.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is only 7 years old.
Yeah, this is only 7 years older than a Klein Leash. Yeah.
Ridiculous, yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, probably substantially less thousands of
yes.
dollars. Yeah.
Yes. A 20th of the price, actually.
Wow. Nice. I like it. Now we're talking. Yeah, fascinating. And this was just ex-bourbon? Sorry.
Yeah, first fill.
Yeah.
Straight first fill ex-bourbon.
Yeah,
nothing creepy, crazy going on. Creepy. No creepy casks in this one. We'll save those for the Halloween spectacular next month. Speaking of which, the Sunday OutTurn for next month is actually going to happen on Halloween.
Wow.
So yeah, come in costume, please.
Cool. Nice.
I don't know whether I should actually say there's going to be a costume competition because I can't think of a prize that we can... I'm sure I can come up with something. There's a costume competition. Candy. Yeah, I'm sure. Maybe I'll see if I can find some whiskey chocolates or something. Yeah, okay. Yeah, costume competition for the next OutTurn, guys.
Awesome. I might come back.
I'm looking at you, Lawrence. If you're not Count Dracula, I'll be very upset.
Count Lawrence.
Oh, brilliant. I feel like he's already a count of something.
Certainly.
He's accountable, that's for sure.
Yes.
Speaking of things we can hold Lawrence accountable for, the Whiskey Festival is officially going ahead, unless, we're told that we can't. But the wheels are in motion, the plan is happening. So yes, look out soon for Whiskey Festival ticket information. I believe they're planning to have the tickets go on sale a little later this year than normal.
That makes sense.
But yes, a very, very, very exciting that the Whiskey Festival is going to be back in town.
Cannot wait. It's my favorite thing of the year.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this, but I'm going to do it anyway. There's a good chance the SMWS might be there in some capacity. So.
I love the SMWS.
I know, me too. There's just something about them.
They're pretty cool.
And if you at home also like the SMWS, and maybe you're not a member yet, but you're thinking of joining, well, the good news is you can join if you've never been a member before. It's kind of a try before you buy. The first one's free,
right?
Kind of thing.
You sort of alluded to this a little bit.
Yeah. If you buy a bottle over $180. Turns out this one's $186.87. So this is a very good value way of joining the club. However, if you're already a member, then get there quick, because that means that non-members are eligible to buy this one and you don't want to miss out, because this is an absolutely spectacular example of a Klein Leash, especially if you like them extra coastal. I'm looking at you, Duke Snyder.
Me too. Up there in the sky. Is he a pilot? No, he's a boat person.
Captain Duke Snyder, the pilot. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, he's the does the icebreakers.
That's right.
Yeah.
I
He's potentially in the Antarctic right as we speak, to be honest.
Wow, cool.
Sorry, the wrong one. The upside down Antarctic. The Arctic.
Yes.
The anti-Antarctic.
The Arctic.
Yes, that one. The up one. Ah, beautiful.
Whiskey.
But yeah, interesting name. And a really interesting whiskey. And so I get the codes in advance when I'm ordering these whiskies into the Strath, as you well know. You used to do this. You get the codes and you jump quickly online and find out, what's this one? What's this one going to be?
Yeah, there's usually good info out there.
So I opened all the tabs up at once, and I was opening up and finding the names, and I got very confused because I knew there was going to be a Klein Leash, and I could have sworn that it was going to be the next whiskey, because the next one is called Waxing Lyrical.
Yeah. Pretty on the nose.
Exactly. But it's not a Klein Leash. Let's find out what it is. A real beauty. Waxed lemons, white chocolate, fudge sundae, spearmint, ripe red apples, honey, hints of virgin olive oil, salty sea spray, and a wisp of smoke. Viscous, oily, and fresh on the palate with toasted wood, polished oak, oranges, and kiwis in the finish. One of the classic cocktails, the epitome of a summer drink, a daiquiri. After the addition of water, freshly sliced lemons, sunflower oil, yogurt-covered raisins, plenty of wax, beeswax, paraffin wax, palm wax, and coconut wax. And remember, this is not a Klein Leash. The taste was like a stress-relieving deep inhalation of fresh mountain air filled with lavender, heather, and Scots pine.
Wow. Yeah.
So I believe Rob and Kelly chose this one because of the whole sort of longing longing for the past kind of essence of, waxing nostalgia,
Right.
waxing lyrical.
Sure, yeah.
And, it's 10 years. It's the right time to do that kind of thing. And, a beautiful whiskey to have in this lineup as well, because it's kind of mad. I really enjoyed this one. It's very, it very much feels atmospheric it feels like you're going for a hike. I would definitely want to drink this from a hip flask. Actually, it probably doesn't need to be drunk from a hip flask. It would probably actually take away from it somewhat, because it already feels like you're doing that.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just very fresh meadow. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very caked in mud. No. That is generally what happens if you go on a hike in Scotland, though.
I can only imagine, yeah. Up some muddy hill.
So this is from the 20th of August 2010. It's aged for 10 years. From the Highlands, a second fill ex-bourbon barrel on this one, 60.2 ABV, one of 240, and its code is 11278. 112. Yeah.
I start getting lost in those hundreds.
I know.
All of the codes, other than a few very important ones, they're all starting to sort of fade away on me. But yeah,
it'll happen. You're not staring at the shelf every day anymore.
I know my 1 and my 3 and my 29.
That's all you need.
That's all I need. Yeah.
Oh, it's woody peppery on the nose today, actually. Interesting. Lovely.
Fascinating, yeah. They're really...
I was going to say, this is going to mean absolutely nothing to Pat because he hasn't seen it, but for those watching at home, the image you just saw on the screen of those weird, I don't even know how to describe what they look like. They're actually, interestingly enough, wax cylinders that used to be a vessel for music before records,
Right.
which is something that I just learnt when I Google image searched for waxing lyrical. And I went on a weird YouTube rabbit hole, found lots of music that was recorded on old wax cylinders, mostly yodeling. So if you're into yodeling,
Amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was fine.
Yeah.
Not the greatest sound quality, but a really interesting experience. And did you know about wax cylinders?
I've heard tell of wax cylinders.
Yeah.
I don't really know what they look like. I haven't seen that little interstitial thing in the video, but
No,
I
I'll
bet
show
they
you
look
later.
Cool. Yeah, cool.
It's interesting as well because they weren't actually made of wax. The prototypes were, but of course, wax is going to melt and deform. So they'd make wax molds, and then it would be made with a soft metal.
Yeah. And then obviously predating vinyl records.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the weird image you guys just saw. Interestingly enough, linked with the previous image as well for turning out the dark, because also made by Edison.
Oh.
Yeah, the Edison invention. Well, Edison invention.
Right. It was all Tesla.
It's the Edison Corporation. Yes.
Right. It was all Elon Musk time travel.
Exactly. Yeah, waxing lyrical. Big on the pepper on the nose today. Interestingly,
Pepper and very floral, very violets.
Very orchardy.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I do. I understand the meadow hike sort of a thing.
That's much more on the palate though. Yeah,
Is that right?
It's
Okay.
very it says on the last bit, lavender, heather, and Scots pine. It's very
That gets there on the. Oh, I'm gonna dive in.
tastes like walking through a field full of bracken.
Royal Brackenla. That's my guess.
The very same.
Yeah.
No, it's not a Royal Brackler. Good guess though.
It's kind of a joke guess.
Oh yeah. Not actually a good guess. I'm just being polite. It's a terrible guess.
Yeah,
Isn't Royal Brackler a Speyside? Oh, actually, I'm not sure.
it's a Highland.
It's a Highland. Yeah. Bad Adam.
I feel like this could do with a bit of water, and we didn't really actually get to it on camera, but the previous one really actually swam really nicely and needed just a few drops, and it was fantastic. It was really lovely.
All right, well, let's give it a couple of touches on this. Yeah, one of the things I noted from the Klein leash is actually adding water made it thicker.
Which is totally counter to any.
Yeah, it doesn't
other-
make any sense.
No, it
but,
doesn't. Yeah, ordinarily it would thin it out slightly.
Doesn't make any sense, but then again, we're drinking whiskey, something made from barley, water, and yeast, which is somehow this amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Whiskey doesn't make sense. It's okay.
Never ceases to amaze me either. It's certainly more of everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Turn the volume up.
yeah. Wow.
It's still got that pepperiness for me that I didn't really get the other day, but it's mixing now with strawberries. Isn't that something in a daiquiri? You don't use like strawberry syrup or something?
You can do a strawberry or a lime daiquiri.
Oh, okay.
Lime would be the most classic example, but yeah, strawberry is probably close behind as the second. Yeah.
Because one of the things I enjoy with strawberries is treating them like a strawberry.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a strawberry. I just said strawberries like a strawberry. Treating strawberries like a tomato. There we go. And putting salt and pepper on them.
Oh,
really delicious.
interesting. Yeah. I've had strawberries in like balsamic. I'm not sure that I've had it with like salt and pepper.
Yeah, salt and pepper strawberries. It sounds mad, but it works.
Ah, what a great tip.
Treat a strawberry like a strawberry, Patrick.
Life lessons from Adam Bradshaw.
You heard it here first.
Never treat it like an orange.
So 112, you're not sure what it is. You know it's a Highland, and you know what it tastes like now.
Right.
What if I was to say that this distillery actually, its whole purpose is to make a variety of distillates, and this is but one of many different kinds that it can make.
I'd say it's probably some sort of a derivation of a Loch Lomond.
It is some kind of a Loch Lomond-esque type thing.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. It's an Inchmurring. Yeah.
Ah, there you go.
Which is one Loch Lomond uses their hybrid pot stills, which are for legal purposes called a pot still, but really aren't, because they've got the sort of the column still attachment to it where they can change, they put the plates in to change the height and everything.
Right.
So they can make many different styles of whiskey with them, which is cool. And yeah, this is just one of them. It's amazing that they've managed to basically make a Clynelish. Well, it's not quite a Clynelish, but it's certainly got the waxy quality.
Yeah, it's there. It's not maybe as there as the image and the name might suggest.
No.
I've got to say.
I think maybe the panel were just taken so surprised by its presence.
Yeah.
It's definitely not for me the forefront of the flavor profile, but
Right.
it is shocking that it's there.
It's there, certainly, yeah, but it isn't like,
And that's one thing I don't know if you know this or not. Do you know if the panel knows before they taste what distillery it's from?
I was just going to ask
Yeah.
you. I have a sneaking suspicion they probably don't. I think they probably are just given a set of samples, create the craziest possible tasting notes, and then we'll kind of like fit that to the distillery. I think that's probably...
It seems more likely.
That would be my intuition anyway, yeah.
But then I don't know, maybe not, because like the last one said that it's a tempestuous example from this legendary distillate, but maybe that was added afterwards.
Yeah, they probably edited it and gussy it up after the fact. Hard to
That
say.
makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you yourself feel like you should wax lyrical for a while, you can pick up this bottle. You do have to be a member because it's under 180. It is 172.96 and available right now at strathliquor.com. Get it while you can. And the next bottle may be a black label, Pat.
Ooh,
it's a very special one, and I can't wait to share it with you.
Amazing.
Whiskey number 5 from today's OutTurn is Refined Rancio. This was almost sensory overkill, but we managed. Overripe pears and plums, musky and woody tobacco, floral and nutty. We imagined being in a perfume laboratory in Grasse. And do you know where Grasse is?
No, it sounds like maybe in Belgium.
I would believe you if you said that. Then again, though, I'm not entirely sure if it matters where a perfume laboratory is. It's not
somewhere I want to be.
Fair, a little overkill. I find it hard to be in one of those lush stop shops.
I do as well, yeah.
The taste neat was silky and rich, gentle and refined, as well as oaky and creamy, like a chilled glass of white Bordeaux wine. Now there's something I can get behind. Lemon, peach, apricot, and herbaceous notes of bergamot. Diluted, we found Manuka honey, orange blossom, figs, and dates next to marzipan. Not the marzipan itself, just the fig next, the date next to the marzipan.
What would a date smell and taste like next to marzipan, adjacent to marzipan?
Distant marzipan.
Delicious.
On the palate, we detected that sweet rancio flavour found in sweet wines with the delicate earthiness of mushrooms and truffles. After 13 years in an ex-bourbon barrel, we transferred this whiskey into a first fill barrique from a privately owned small bodega, now in its 9th generation, that focuses exclusively on the Pedro Jimenez grape.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So this is a Highland. It's from an ex-bourbon barrel, finished in an XPX barrel, 15 years aged. It's from the 8th of February 2005, an OutTurn of 187 bottles and an ABV of 56.3. And the code on this one is 125.78. And as Pat has already admitted, he gets a little foggy past 100.
Basically, yes.
So yeah. Pat still doesn't know what this whiskey is, and it's actually only the second time we've ever had it here in Canada from the SMWS. It's the first time I've ever had it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I already tried it a couple of days ago. Spoiler alert, I really quite enjoyed it.
Very nice.
As you probably would expect. But yeah, really, really cool, interesting whiskey. And very interesting that they went into such detail about the cask.
I was going to say the same. Yeah. Ordinarily it's just, and then finished in PX. But the fact that the, you know, bespoke bodega from such and such is...
It makes me wonder whether the SMWS might have actually sourced the cask themselves for this.
That would indicate, yeah. Which is, you know, I'm sure they're getting nice quality casks from everywhere, but the fact that they're giving them a little bit of a sort of a covert shout out is really interesting.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the covertness really piqued my interest. So I was like, can we figure out exactly what this is? And again, I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole on the internet.
Is that right?
And as you will have seen at home, the image I put up there for this refined Rancio while we were doing the tasting notes, it was the entranceway of Jimenez Spinola. Ever heard of Jimenez Spinola? No, neither. It started in 1729 and is the first ever recorded grower of the Pedro Jimenez grape.
Wow, that's something to hang your hat on.
In Spain. Wow. Turns out Pedro Jimenez is not a Spanish grape.
Where's it from?
We don't know. There's a whole thing, and you go deep in the realms of the internet, and there's people have theories, and they keep trying to trace it back as to where it came from.
Boy,
but they do know where it was before Spain.
Okay,
the Netherlands.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Becky would be pretty happy with that.
That's right. My Dutch wife would be proud.
As maybe Federico would as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What's even funnier is, and I still don't know whether this is real or not, but there's from many sources say this, that Pedro Jimenez, which is, you know, it's a name, right? Pedro, Peter.
Sure, yeah.
It's actually named after the guy that brought it to Spain from Holland, whose real name was Pieter Simans.
That's a far cry, yeah.
It's like
interesting,
maybe. And apparently, the record has it that he did that in 1729, the date that Jimenez Spinola started.
So
apparently,
this is how you sort of right.
It all kind of comes together, but yeah, super cool. They're and how I got to that is they are the only one that's in a ninth generation because it's the oldest, and it's like none of the others possibly could be unless really young mothers, I guess. But also, it's the only place in the world that has a 100% focus on Pedro Jimenez. It's the only vineyard in the world that only grows that grape.
That's pretty incredible.
Which is
cool.
So super unique, super boutique cask, and super cool whiskey. So,
I look very much forward.
Yes. The intrigue and glee on your face is worth.
Yeah. Black label anything, sherried anything, heavily sherried anything. Rancio is always a quality I look for, and if anybody out there doesn't really know what that is, it's sort of that really old sort of sherry quality that you get where it turns into almost like old books, old leather, old everything, right?
And that's something I didn't really know either. It's something else I ended up Googling for a while in the middle of the night. Is that Rancio? And you obviously knew more than I did from the get-go. But you also know it actually has a separate meaning in the world of brandy.
No. Yeah.
So for sweet wines, specifically as well, Madeira is one of the biggest things of it. It's that oxidation that gives you that nuttiness.
Right.
But in the world of brandy, it's also used for super old brandies that take on this sort of mustiness that we often equate with Springbank. This isn't a Springbank. Don't get too excited. You know Springbank's not there.
Yeah, I think I do. I know it's not this. Yeah.
Yes, it's a Highland anyway.
Yeah.
But that sort of musty, the same note that I've often referred to as the feeling of going back to your cabin after it's been wintered. You're in the middle of spring and you're going back to the cabin for the first time. Everything's just a little bit musty, but in an weirdly endearing, inviting way.
Yeah.
And Rancio is the word that they use for that in brandies.
Interesting. And that's weirdly more the sort of interpretation of it that I knew.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, more so than than for sherry.
Oh, that nose. Rancio. Refined Rancio, indeed.
Yeah, that is gorgeous.
Silencio Rancio.
Big, sort of like a cough drops sort of a thing. Like there's this it's so sherry that it becomes almost like medicinal. Like it becomes like this deep.
Yeah, like
stewed fruit.
Yeah,
peppery, medicinal.
Like a grapefruit jam cough drop hybrid thing.
Yeah, I like that. That sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, glorious nose.
Yeah, incredible. Oh, wow.
Dried apricots and pecans right off the get-go.
Yeah, maybe some like dried cherries as well.
Yeah, it's not purely the golden fruits. There's definitely some darker stuff in there.
Yeah, some redder things happening. Wow.
It does have that earthiness for me.
I don't know if it wants water.
Well, as a wise man named Lawrence Graham once told me, in his opinion, you should only add water to whiskies that were in a cask of something that you would add water or ice to. So ex-bourbon, because you add water or ice to bourbon, works well with water.
Yeah.
But ex-sherry, not necessarily, because you never add water to a sherry.
This is sage advice, honestly.
I mean, it
I'm
actually
with you. Yeah,
makes a lot of sense. It kind of, I mean, for exploration's sense, I did try it with a bit of water the other day. It doesn't really do much.
Yeah. Sometimes what I have found with heavily sherried whiskeys is a little bit of water will sometimes separate all that.
Yeah. And especially when it's young.
Yeah.
15
certainly.
isn't really young.
No. Yeah. Really fascinating whiskey. I definitely understand why they put the black label on it. I mean, it's clearly, it's got that provenance of having like a really bespoke, really, legendary, potentially, sherry bodega.
Even not knowing the distillery. And this is very much a black label for rarity's sake.
Right.
It's like black label quality. Definitely.
Yeah, without knowing what it is.
Absolutely.
I think.
And I can tell you it's sold out in an instant at the last tasting as well.
There's like cola candies or something too.
Cola cubes.
Cola cubes, yeah.
Totally.
Oh, that's really good. This is good, going into the winter months especially. This would be a fantastic stocking stuffer.
Yes. It'd be a great way to celebrate like Thanksgiving or something as well. Like a good pass it around after a dinner kind of a thing.
I like it. Yeah.
So 125. Okay, what clues can I give you? How about... So this is finished in Pedro Jimenez. This is a finished whiskey. It started off its life in an ex-bourbon cask. What if I was to tell you that this distillery is famous for doing that, starting whiskey off in an ex-bourbon cask and then finishing it in something? And they kind of almost pioneered it.
They almost pioneered it. Is it a Balvenie?
No.
Is it a Glendronach?
No. It's a Glen something.
a...
It's a Highland. How about if I was to tell you that their 10-year-old is the best-selling single malt whiskey in Scotland most years?
Is it a...
It's a Glenmorangie.
No way. Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
SMWS Glenmorangie.
Oh, unreal. That was on the tip of my tongue.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah. Crazy. I can't remember if I've seen an SMWS Glenmorangie.
I think the last one was 2014, I think, from looking at it. So I think you might have been helping to set up. But...
Yeah, I might have been sort of involved in some way. I sort of, started by helping.
I feel like that was in the Colin era.
Yeah.
And I've still never met Colin, but I hope maybe one day he might see one of these videos and think longingly back to his days at the Strath. And if you are happening to watch this, drop us a comment. I'd love to meet for coffee with you one day, Colin. You sound like a stand-up fella.
I'd love to see you again as well, Colin. You can find a really cool video of Ralphie meeting Colin years ago and then meeting Lawrence at the Victoria Whiskey Festival.
Indeed.
It's one of my favorite things.
We'll see if we can find it and put a link in the comments.
Oh, let's do that.
Yeah.
I think that's a
more
real
people
treat.
need to see that.
It's pretty funny.
It's wonderful seeing how many Canadian single malts we had available on the shelf then.
Yeah. That's the number.
We've got a few more now. Oh, yeah. I've long been a fan of Glenmorangie. It's one of the whiskies that I was introduced to before I even moved to Scotland.
Right.
My granddad used to drink a bit of Glenmorangie.
Cool.
The 10-year-old, actually.
Nice. Classic.
Yeah, somewhere, and it's probably been recycled or something now. He used to have a comically large empty bottle of Glenmorangie 10-year-old that he used to put his like pennies in.
Nice.
I wonder what happens to that. If it is still around, I want to see if I can get it.
Was it like a 3-liter sort of a thing?
Yeah, I mean, it felt huge because I was like 3, I guess, when I discovered it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like half my height. So yeah, it's probably a 3-liter.
Nice. Yeah, that's exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Just, classic.
Classic, immense quality. Some of the tallest stills in Scotland. Have you seen the update, the new building they've got?
I honestly don't think I have. I'm a little bit out of the loop.
They've got this new building, and I'm sure we can talk to Whiskey Bry about this,
Yeah.
who's coming up soon.
Right.
They're calling it the Lighthouse, and it's housing their new experimental stills and things.
Oh,
so they're
neat.
going to start mixing it up a bit more.
Is it
Like,
extremely sort of tall?
yeah, it's just like a giant white
tower.
pillar. Yeah, it's very strange looking.
Very cool.
I think they're taking some inspiration from Macallan in that sense.
Getting
building a spaceship,
a little bit whimsical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, wonderful things coming out of Glenmorangie, and to have a cask strength single cask boutique bodega fresh Pedro Jimenez first fill cask finished Glenmorangie is an absolute treat and very worthy of both being a black label and being one of the highlights of the 10th anniversary celebrations.
Yeah, unbelievable. Really fantastic.
And very, very few of these available. We only got one case. If you are interested, there's at least one bottle available as this video goes out, and it probably won't be available for too long. $499.91 is the price on that. You can get it at strathliquor.com. Yeah. And actually, if you can't find it at strathliquor.com, well, maybe check out some of our friends and our colleagues. Special shout out to the guys over at... who should we start with? Let's start with Legacy. They are the closest, of course.
Yeah,
yes.
we'll go in that order.
Yeah, shout out to the guys at Legacy, especially Daryl. I don't know which one's closer, Edmonton or Calgary, so we'll do them both at the same time,
I think
guess.
Calgary's closer.
Calgary's closer?
Yeah.
Kensington Wine Market, the guys over at Calgary, we've already mentioned Andrew. Great guys up there. And of course, Keg and Cork, Edmonton.
Right.
The four horsemen of the whiskey apocalypse out here in Canada. It's amazing to be in such incredible company as the SMWS retailers over here. So yeah, if you are wanting a bottle of this and we've already sold out, check out our friends elsewhere. And we are rolling on now to another whiskey that was specifically included in this tasting for the name. Because I don't know about you, Pat, but I certainly have had some sweet, sweet memories.
Ooh, me too, absolutely.
Maybe not about the SMWS, but in general.
No, yeah, my life's been good. The SMWS has been part of it.
Sweet, sweet memories, especially of the SMWS. Wonderful. Can you smell the coffee? Those freshly ground beans now in your mug. It triggered all sorts of good feelings and memories, like making Christmas cookies with your mum and being allowed to lick the bowl. On the palate, juicy sultanas. Salty flavours of macadamia nuts, warm walnut raisin bread, cinnamon custard and buttery shortbread pastry dough. Water brought sumptuous rose water in sherry and hot buttered crumpets, while to taste, chocolate pots with dried orange peel and 5-spice. Chocolate and spice, what a great partnership. After 11 years in a refill Oloroso butt, we transferred this whiskey into a first fill Pedro Jimenez sherry butt.
Wow.
Double sherry.
Double sherry, yeah. Amazing.
Fun times ahead.
Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty, so it's below 100, so you might know the code on this one. It's a 68.53.
68.
It's all right. I'll let you know very shortly.
Okay.
But I'm just going to let you stew on it for a while.
Okay.
Stewed raisins.
I think I maybe know what it is. Is it a... Can I guess now?
Yeah.
Is it a Glendronach?
No, I'm sorry. But it is a Highland.
Okay.
Its initial cast was an ex-Oloroso butt and then finished in a first fill PX butt. It is 13 years aged from the 30th of January 2007, an outturn of a grandiose 599 bottles.
That is a big butt.
We do like big butts, and it is an ABV of 59.1. I was really hoping it would be 59.9, just go with the 599 bottles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, a lovely double sherried 13-year-old from Distillery 68. Okay, what can I drip in information for you? So remember the Victoria Caledonia, or now Macaloni's Caledonian Twa Casks series?
Yes.
This was one of the two in the Highland blend. The other one being Macduff.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's not helping me.
If you were to record a documentary about this distillery, you might want to do so with a shaky hand cam in a forest.
Is it a Blair Athol?
It's a Blair Athol.
Cool. The Blair Athol project?
The Blair Athol project.
Nice. All right.
Ah, lovely.
Yeah, that's better for me. Sorry, Macaloni.
That's quite all right. I'm sure he'll forgive you.
I'm sure he's watching and will forgive me.
Graham is watching. Hi, Graham.
Hi, Graham. Nice to see you.
To see you nice.
Yes.
Ah, lovely. Sweet, sweet memories. Didn't you have an idea for a bra shop that was very similar to this?
That's right. My lovely wife and I still have an idea for a bra shop, and don't steal our idea. A bra shop called Precious Memories.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, it's going to happen someday.
It should.
Yeah.
It's just printing money right there.
Absolutely.
Any investors, get in on the ground floor.
You know how to find me. At Adam's house.
Drinking whiskey.
For all eternity.
Oh, yeah. That is very Christmassy, actually.
Yeah, big time. I love Oloroso especially. Like, I like PX, and I realize this is finished in PX, but Oloroso and whiskey is just like a match made in heaven.
I know I said it out loud. I've already forgotten how long it spent in that Oloroso.
Was it 10?
11 years. So
Yeah.
a couple of years in PX, but 11 of them in that Oloroso.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that is a nice interplay as well when you have that Oloroso kind of base and then you kind of sweeten it up with the PX at the end.
Because they are incredibly different types of sherry.
Yeah.
Like, not all sherries are created evenly. Like, they're... we did a Dram Association tasting where we actually had whiskies from specific sherry types with that type of sherry.
Cool.
And, like, it's not until you actually have them side by side that you realize how incredibly different, like, a Fino is to an Oloroso, to an Amoroso, to a... Like, it's just...
Yeah.
Incredibly different experiences.
I got weirdly into sherry for a little while, and I mean, like, Fino is crazy. It's like sucking on walnut skins or something. It's crazy. And then Oloroso is like kind of like this nice, rich, nutty, earthy, sort of a thing. And then PX is like, it's like port almost. It's just syrupy, gloopy sort of. Yeah.
Pour it over your ice cream.
Yeah, certainly. So, and then everything in between, you get your Amontilleados and everything.
Totally.
Yeah.
I do love the SMWS doing this mix of Oloroso and Pedro Jimenez. So
yeah,
it's a really good mix.
Very cool.
Because you get those sort of sweeter, more sort of prunes and dates kind of a thing with that sort of more dried nuts and.
Yeah, they play off each other really, really well.
It's creating a Christmas cake in a glass.
One of the first whiskeys I ever bought was a Ben Riach 12 year that was done in Oloroso and then finished in PX. And it was magnificent.
I mean, in the classical thing, like I really like official bottling single malts that are a blend of the two. But it's the same end result, really.
I just had a little wee drop on the palate.
Oh yeah, I've been diving in straight away.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's really excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, if you like sherry, then you'll doubly like this.
Big, chewy Christmas cake, tons of dried fruit. Like, it's like a Christmas cake just doused in brandy.
But unlike some of the real sherry bombs that you can get sometimes with younger whiskies, it's not feisty. It's a very welcoming sherry.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Occasionally they can get like a little whiny and explosive, but
yeah, this is relatively. It's not mellow, but it's more towards that direction.
Yeah, and the distillate still kind of shines through. Like, you still get the character of the whiskey. It's not completely just buried under a bunch of sort of fortified wine. Yeah.
And I think part of that is going to be that first 11 years was in a refill as well.
Right.
So it's not going to be sort of straight up madness.
Totally. Yeah.
Not like the next one.
No, this is wonderful. I like this quite a bit. It's been a while since I've had a big old sherried SMWS.
Well, welcome back to the experience.
Yeah.
And if at home you're thinking this is an experience that you too would like to share with us, then head on down to strathliquor.com and pick up a bottle for $212.09. Beautiful whiskey. And if you do pick up this whiskey or any of the whiskies from today's OutTurn because of this video, please come back to the video and drop us a comment in the comments section. We'd love to know what you picked up and how you enjoy it yourself.
Yeah, great.
As much as I love drinking whiskey and sharing whiskey and selling whiskey, I really do honestly love to hear the feedback of what you guys thought of the whiskeys yourselves. So please stay in touch, even if you can't make it to the tastings. And that's one of the reasons we're putting these videos out still, is for those folks who can't make it to the tasting due to safety or geographic restrictions. A special hello to anyone watching this video who's a customer of ours from outside of Victoria. If you're up island or on the mainland or elsewhere, hi guys. We've not forgotten about you. We're still going to do the videos, and we're going to keep doing this for as long as we can, pretty much. And we also have been saving a little bit of each allocation to make sure that there's still a chance for people that can't make it to the tastings, and that's especially coming into play this month, where there's so many heavily fought over, heavily sought after whiskies being released.
Right.
And it doesn't end here. Like, this is a fantastic sherry bomb, but we have an extra special whiskey in last place today.
Can't wait.
Last but by no means least, our final whiskey number 7, our final whiskey of the 10th anniversary tasting is smoky, salty, and malty. Malt mates. A beach smoked beer with fresh lime zest, orange peel, coriander seed, and a pinch of sea salt. On the palate, big on the peat smoke, but nicely balanced by mixed spices, blackberries, sourdough bread, and sweet potato gnocchi with samphire. With a drop of water, we could literally smell the sea with a trawler and a Clyde puffer in the distance, as well as the ferry coming in from Tobermory to the slipway at Kilchoan. An amazing texture, creamy salted caramel cheesecake, homemade strawberry fruit roll-ups, and in the long finish, an exciting exotic smoky incense combined with sandalwood and coconut. I didn't know you could make homemade fruit roll-ups, but...
I did,
Yeah?
weirdly, yeah. I think I've watched
I was
YouTube.
going to say, it sounds like a YouTube video.
It's totally a YouTube
It sounds like...
video I've watched, yeah.
Who's that girl that does all of the amazing...
Claire
Claire
from Bon Appetit.
Bon Appetit. It sounds like something she would do.
Probably, yeah, definitely.
If she hasn't, we should definitely submit a request.
For sure.
All right. I'm going to pour you a dram of this before we go into the details.
Okay. I won't say anything. I don't know anything, in
You
fact.
don't know a thing.
No.
The only thing you know is the thing that we've been teasing a little for a little while.
Right.
To a select few people that we might have a 0.1. And we've not had it yet, but we do now. This is 149.1. An outturn of 636 bottles from a First Fill ex Oloroso, but this is a Highland whiskey distilled on the 14th of September 2015. This is a 5-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey.
Interesting.
Bottled at 61.5.
Wow. 0.1.
And you know what? Not only is this the first time this distillery has ever been in the SMWS Canada, first time it's ever been bottled for the SMWS ever, and it's also the first time the SMWS Canada has ever had a single malt Scotch whiskey 0.1.
Really?
Yep, we've had spirits, we've had grains,
Sure,
and we've
okay.
had international single malts.
Yeah, right.
We've never had a Scotch.
I remember at least one Japanese 0.1.
Yes.
For sure, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Legendary.
Very much so.
Yeah. Super, super cool whiskey, and I'm very glad to be sharing it with you, Patrick.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you.
Unfortunately, our bus driver, Emily, has had to go and get an early night. She's driving the bus in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
But she very much enjoyed this on Sunday.
I hope so, yeah. This smells incredible.
She was honestly slightly sad that there was no Isla, but this more than made up for it.
Whatever this is, yeah, Isla-esque enough for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. It's like smoked honeycomb or something, a little honey ham as well.
Honey
like,
ham, yeah. Glazed honey ham.
Wow.
Honey glazed ham. Love that stuff.
Yeah.
It's dropping more SMWS members' names. Smells a little bit like Heather Leary's famous smoked blackberry ketchup. Have you had that?
No.
I've got a jar in the cupboard. It is absolutely incredible.
I didn't know where you were going with that. And I didn't know you were going to blackberry ketchup. That's
Yes.
the last thing I would have guessed.
Blackberry
but
ketchup.
Cool.
Incredible.
Nice. Well, Heather Leary is a classic SMWS member.
Certainly is.
Yeah.
She'll be there on tomorrow's outturn.
Oh, amazing.
We're recording this on the Wednesday before the Thursday tasting.
Right.
If you're wondering why there's so much left in the bottle, this for the other half of the tastings.
Right.
Which is why we can't drink too much tonight, Pat.
No, certainly. And I mean, yeah, that includes, I'll be in the audience for tomorrow's tasting, so I hope there's some left for me.
I hope so. Although, you've already had them once, so if we don't have enough, you're going to be the first one cut.
Outrageous. I'm sure I paid for it.
Yeah, we'll refund you.
All right. Seems fair.
We'll be fine.
I know.
Actually, the first one cut will be Phaedra. She's my co-presenter.
Whoa. That's wild.
Yeah.
Like a big bundle of smoked honey drizzled fruits or something.
Mm-hmm.
There is, again, a meaty, savory, salty, like crisp burnt bacon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't believe this is only 5 years old.
I know, right?
Yeah.
You know what it really reminds me of is, and this is mad because it's not as peaty. It's actually, it gets a bit of a weird rap, and I'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
It reminds me of some of the wine cask Octomores.
Oh, yeah.
That'll
Right.
come out.
Yeah.
Which is a thing, like, it's a bit of a misnomer. Yes, Octomore is 178 ppm or 120 something ridiculous high ppm. Yeah, but that's the barley. They do a lot of things after that will reduce the smoke content.
Yeah.
Octomore is not actually necessarily the smokiest whiskey.
No.
I've had Kilcommons that are smokier than Octomores. I've had Ardbegs that are smokier than Octomores.
Yeah, I think I'm sure I have as well. Certainly, yeah.
I've certainly had Glenturrets that are smokier than Octomores. That is ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah.
This is a Highland. It's not a Glenturret though. Obviously, we've had a few. This is a number one. I'm not sure if you've ever had anything from this distillery. I've only had one thing previously.
Okay,
And
yeah.
it wasn't a whiskey. It was only 18 months at the time.
I was going to say, the fact that it's only 5 years old and it's a #1 leads me to believe it's a very new distillery, relatively speaking, and probably not something I've had a chance to try yet, or maybe you've even heard of. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Potentially, yeah. It's one of many distilleries right now. There's a growing trend of independent bottlers starting their own distillery. And this is one of them. A lot of independent bottlers right now are sort of wanting to join the ranks of people like Springbank, who of course have their Caden Heads bottling hall. Right. People like Gordon MacPhail, who have Ben Romack as well.
Yeah.
And going in that direction, Douglas Lang have got one coming, Hunter Lang have got one coming. But the first of the modern era to really jump on that train was these guys, which is Adelphi. This is a distillery owned and run by Adelphi, and it is called Ardnamurchan.
I've heard of them, certainly, yeah. I have not had a chance to try any Ardnamurchan.
One of the most beautiful surroundings for a distillery ever, apparently, from a few people I know that have visited.
Right.
I actually did a Google Maps. They've got the Street View version of Google Maps around here, amazingly. It's in the middle of bloody nowhere, but they've somehow got Street View. Google are everywhere, be afraid.
Nice, yeah.
And I was actually showing Kristen, because we were planning to go to Scotland a couple of years ago, just before COVID, actually just after COVID hit, but obviously we didn't. So we were showing her pictures of some of the places we might visit at some point, because I'd like to visit Ardnamurchan. It sounds really lovely.
Yeah.
And she was like, that's so much like dry stone walling. Like, the walls are made just literally of rocks piled on top of each other.
Oh, yeah.
And she was amazed by, like, the road was, like, lined by these dry stone walls. Like, wow, that must have taken ages. And, like, coming from Derbyshire, literally every sheep field is lined with them. Like, I've seen thousands of dry stone walls.
Yeah,
it was a real eye-opener to how different it is over here, because I've never seen one in Canada.
No, there might be somewhere. Yeah. Maybe in the prairies or something, but yeah.
It's all fences here.
Yeah, we have a lot of wood here.
Yeah, that's fair, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of stone as well, but yeah.
We do, yeah, but we
you
have
got the wood,
better
so
things to do than piling up a bunch
yeah,
of
that's fair. But this feels very dry stone wall by the ocean to me. It's got that, like, the moss growing on it. It's funky, it's smoky, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, really fascinating, and really does belie the 5-year sort of age on it, like, just the depth of it.
A clue to the location is actually in the tasting notes as well. They talk about the Clyde Puffer boat in the distance and the ferry coming in from Tobermory.
Okay.
Well, the ferry from Tobermory, you would actually be able to see from the distillery here, because on a clear day, you might even be able to see Tobermory.
Right.
It's on the mainland, directly looking over towards Mull.
I did not realize that either.
Yeah, pretty cool.
The more you know.
The more you know. The better you feel.
I do know that the official bottlings of Ardnamurchan are definitely gaining a lot of steam and, like, critical acclaim.
And
like,
they're also going to be coming to BC pretty soon.
Ooh, that's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually I know they came to Canada a little sooner than planned, because they knew the SMWS had bottled some, and they wanted to be the first people to actually release their whiskey in Canada.
Smart.
And they did just, but not in BC.
Yeah. Cool.
We beat them to it here.
Well, I see what the fuss is about now. This is really, really wonderful.
Yeah, lovely stuff. Strict limit of 1 per member on this. I'm sure this will be gone in an instant. Smoky, salty, and malty. The first ever Ardnamurchan in the SMWS. $212.09. Get it while you can, but please promise me that you will drink it. I know that the 0.1s do have quite a resale value after a few years, but the experience of drinking this whiskey will far belie the extra $100 you'll have in a couple of years. It's just not worth it. Drink the damn whiskey. That is what it's made for.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you for drinking whiskey with me, Pat.
Anytime. I mean, that's what I do.
This is true. You know things and you drink whiskey. This is what you do.
This is me.
Yeah, and drinking out loud is always much more fun when you have someone to drink out loud with. So, Slan Cheval.
Cheers.
And today's OutTurn, in order of appearance, we have, of course, starting off with the Backseat Brewer, the charity dram for the month, where all proceeds from the SMWS are going to help the Afghan interpreters. That was a Linkwood. That's $179.91 for the 9-year-old Linkwood, finished in an IPA barrel. We have the Canadian exclusive, incredible, possibly my pick for the OutTurn, to be honest. It was that damn good.
Really good.
Amazing Longmorn, $259.91 for that. It's a 17-year-old Longmorn, cask 7.261. And then, of course, a Kleinleash, We talked earlier about Emily's first ever distillery purchase being a Longmorn. Mine was a Kleinlich. I actually still have a little tiny drop left. I can't finish it for sentimental reasons. But today's Kleinlich, the dark goes out. Absolutely fantastic oily and coastal whiskey. That one was 186.87. We got the Waxing Lyrical, what might have been a Kleinlich in another life, but was actually an Inchmurrin.
Yeah.
172.96. We also have, of course, the black label, the Refined Rancio, 125.78, an ex Pedro Jimenez cask from Jimenez Spinola, 499.91 for that incredible, unique, rare whiskey. Sweet memories. 68.51. The Blair Athol from Oloroso butt finished in a PX butt, 212.09. And finally, of course, smoky, salty, and malty, 149.1. That is $212.09. What a magnificent outturn that was.
Incredible, yeah.
Yes.
What a way to mark 10 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure next month is going to be fantastic as well. But this has been super special. Thank you for joining me for this, Pat.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're going to have a little bit of a musical outro shortly, and we'll put the slide up again with the all the price and everything for you. But I think we need to finish off with a bit of a special message because. There's two people who are integral to the success of the SMWS here in Canada. Literally would not exist without them.
No, certainly, yeah. And that's got to be Kelly and Rob. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The Carpenters. They do such an incredible job for us out here in Canada. More these days, we're getting more and more people bringing in interesting whiskies, but that's mostly because of the success of the SMWS. They were pioneers here, bringing in incredible whiskies when no one else was. We would not have the whiskey scene that we do here today without Rob and Kelly. No. And I truly, truly mean that. The SMWS, on a personal level, I think for both of us, has affected us throughout our lives. My career has definitely, gone in an incredible different direction because of the SMWS, and I'm loving every minute of it. I know Pat has, like myself, met many incredible people through this club. In fact, we met each other.
Yeah,
pretty much
absolutely.
Through this club.
We wouldn't have met probably without this. Yeah, certainly.
And our bus driver friend Emily, who has since fled the room,
right,
and many other people that we wouldn't have met without this club.
For sure.
We have some incredible members here. Who would also like to say a quick thank you to Rob and Kelly. So thank you from myself.
Thank you.
And thank you from these guys. We'll see you next time.
Hey, Rob and Kelly. Happy 10th anniversary. It's been a pleasure being part of your journey for at least 9 years. This is today, so I've been a good customer of yours.
Thank you for Earl Sultanovich and Victoria. Thank you also for all the work you do and for taking my phone call a long time ago when I was trying to sort out things with my granddaughter getting whiskey in Edinburgh. And I'll be back to Edinburgh soon. Thanks.
Hi, Rob and Kelly, Leonard Ben. Very good. Wonderful. Great 10 years. Glad you started this. We just enjoy it immensely. Hope to see you soon.
Hope we see you soon, for sure. Let's get back to normal.
Take care. Lots of love.
We really want to go back to Calgary and see you at Kensington. Really miss you guys. Can't wait.
And we're going to say that thank you for bringing the SMWS to Canada, to BC. This has been the best 7 years of my life.
And the moose juice.
And the moose juice. It's Adam likes to call it. It's great stuff. Thanks so much.
Rob and Kelly, a great anniversary. We just had a great tasting, and I truly appreciate everything that you guys have done to introduce people to whiskey. This is my second year as an SMWS member, and I tell you, it's been a real journey, and I very much appreciate it. Thank you so much, and happy anniversary.
Rob and Kelly, thank you so much. 10 years, unbelievable. I think it's 7 for me in my involvement with the club, but thank you from the bottom of my heart. I am overjoyed to be here for this OutTurn. I hope that I can come back for the festival and any further SMWS events that occur here and elsewhere. Love you both. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey guys, just want to say thank you for all the amazing whiskeys over the last couple of years, and I'm sure that my wallet and my liver aren't as appreciative, but the recipe is really enjoying the stuff you've had to offer for us. So thanks again, and looking forward to another few years of this.
Thank you, Rob and Kelly, for 10 great years of amazing whiskey. We really appreciate your dedication to the cause.
Yes, and thank you for coming to BC 9 years ago, and we're hoping to have a 10-year anniversary in BC next year.
We hope to see you at the festival stand.
Oh, definitely.
Hey, Rob and Kelly. Thank you for the whiskey. If I had a bottle with me, I would have toasted you, but yeah, I'm toasting you in spirit.
Hey Rob, hi Kelly, this is Corny. Hey, happy to be working with you for 10 years myself. And there's another two of mine in this collection, the Moose Juice. So hope everything continues well for the next 10 years. And hopefully I'll never you buy more and more of this stuff.
Happy 10th anniversary, Rob and Kelly.
Thank you. It was a fabulous tasting.
Thanks for everything you do to keep society going well and strong again.
And you actually kept our Saturday during especially other times. So it's my cake we have to love it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hi, Rob and Kelly. It's Brett. Thanks so much for sharing, well, all of this wonderful whiskey with all of us here in Victoria. It's been a pleasure to co-host that for as long as I have, and I hope to do so many more. Thank you, and cheers.